So in this video, we're going to talk about cephalosporins, the classification, uses, side effects, and contraindications. Coming to the classification, we all know cephalosporins are classified into 5 groups. Let us come from the last. So if a drug contains ROL in its name, it means it belongs to the 5th generation. If it contains PI in its name, it means it belongs to the 4th generation. This is how we remember 4th and 5th. Now coming to the 3rd generation, the keywords are 1, 10 and ME. If at the last there is 1, ME or TEN, it means they belong to the 3rd generation cephalosporins. For the 1st generation cephalosporins, they all have a common letter which is A. For the 2nd generation cephalosporins, they all have a common letter O. O. Yes. So there are 2 exceptions in this, cefaclor and cefuroxime. As you could see here, at the last there is ME. But ME means it should be belonging to the 3rd generation. But this is an exception. Similarly, cefa here. Right? Now you may get a doubt that here in the end there is ME and even the 3rd generation also have ME at the end. So how are we supposed to remember? For this you have to go by step-by-step process. So whenever they ask you which generation does this drug belong to, first 2 things you have to notice is whether it contains ROL or PI. If it contains ROL, it is definitely 5th. PI, it is definitely 4th. If it contains 1, TEN or ME, it means 3rd. No, it should not contain PI or ROL. It should contain 1, TEN or ME. So here you could see, although it has ME here, but the first thing we have to see is PI. If it contains PI, 4th generation. No matter it contains ME or 1E or TEN, if it contains PI, it's 4th generation. Right? Similarly, it's the same for the 1st generation. It should only contain A and it should not contain 1E, ONE, TEN, ME or PI or ROL. Same for the 2nd generation cephalosporins. Now talking about mechanism of action of cephalosporins. All cephalosporins, they are bactericidal, which means they directly kill the microorganisms. And how they do this is by inhibition of bacterial cell wall synthesis. So as you can see here, the cephalosporins bind to the transpeptidase, which leads to failure of cross linkage, which leads to failure of peptidoglycan synthesis. Now resistance. How do these microorganisms develop resistance? Is by 3 mechanisms. The first mechanism is alteration of target proteins, reducing the affinity for antibiotic. So as you can see here, transpeptidase is a target protein. They alter this target protein. Right? The next resistance mechanism is impermeability to the antibiotics or developing efflux pump out mechanisms. Right? The next resistance mechanism is elaboration of beta-lactamase, which destroys specific cephalosporins. So in the next slide, you can see certain comparisons between 1st and 4th generations, between the different generations. You can see here the 1st generation is mainly effective against gram-positive microorganisms, and the 4th generation, it is mainly effective against gram-negative microorganisms. So here 4th generation has higher affinity for gram-negative. It doesn't mean that it is not active against gram-positive. It also acts against gram-positive, but it has more affinity towards gram-negative. So one thing we have to remember here is 5th generation cephalosporins, they are advanced generation which are more effective against MRSA strains. So MRSA strains means methicillin resistant Staphylococcus aureus. They are also effective against community acquired and hospital acquired pneumonia. So here there is one more table showing different characteristics and actions of cephalosporins. You could take a screenshot of these things if you want. Now here there's one more slide showing some mnemonics here. So you could see PEC, P is for Proteus mirabilis for first generation. For second generation we have HEN-PEC, right? And for third generation you could see they penetrate the BBB, which is the blood-brain barrier, because of which they are used in meningitis. And for fourth generation they are active they have increased activity against Pseudomonas and gram-positive organisms. And the fifth generation, I've already told you, they are effective against MRSA, the community-acquired pneumonia, the hospital-acquired pneumonia. Right? Now talking about uses. So the cephalosporins are used as alternatives to penicillin for ENT. And they are used in respiratory, urinary and soft tissue infections which are caused by gram-negative organisms. Mainly cefuroxime, ceftriaxone and cefotaxime are used against these infections. Next, septicemia caused by gram-negative organisms. For surgical prophylaxis, first generation cephalosporins are popularly used. For meningitis. For gonococcal urethritis, ceftriaxone is the drug of choice. For typhoid, ceftriaxone and cefoperazone are widely used because they are faster acting in case of enteric fever. Next, for hospital-acquired infections, I have already told you, 5th generation cephalosporins. And for complicated skin and soft tissue infections by MRSA, here also it is by 5th generation cephalosporins. Now talking about adverse effects, here also there's one more mnemonic here, which is hypertension and BP. HTN is for hypersensitive reaction, N is for nephrotoxicity and neutropenia, D is for diarrhea, disulfiram, B is for bleeding, P is for pain. Now on the last slide we have contraindications. So the cephalosporins are contraindicated to patients who are allergic to them, or those who have an anaphylactic reaction to penicillin or other beta-lactam antimicrobials. Ceftriaxone again has two contraindications. First, it is contraindicated in hyperbilirubinic neonates because ceftriaxone displaces bilirubin from albumin, increasing free bilirubin concentration, which increases risk of jaundice in neonates. Ceftriaxone reacts to calcium containing solution, and this forms precipitate in lungs and kidneys of infants less than 28 days. That is why they are contraindicated in infants less than 28 days old if they are expected to receive any calcium containing products. So this was all about cephalosporins. Hope you have understood well.